differences, right? But we function well within a slave system. Right? In a routine. When we go in the military, we already go in there. I bet what's the name kids outran everybody when they got in there.
You're exactly right.
Right, there's already, they were trained for this. Right? Both of them. They trained for this.
Became the squad leader.
Right away. But continue it. Right? Already prepared. They prepared us. We're prepared. You know. Okay. We're not prepared. Like Chinamen, they was going to cut them off at Berkeley and say, you know, Chinamen ain't a minority anymore. That was 30 years ago. Are Chinamen smarter? No. All they do is this all day. They don't go out and play. They don't do any of that. They just don't do that.
I remember back my first apartment up this way when I finished school. There was this Asian family that lived right above us at the apartments, and we would hear, you know, the Asian kid out there practicing his flute on the front porch all the time. That kid must not have done anything else but practice that flute or whatever instrument it was.
Yeah.
That was all he did. That was just,
That's why they're not smarter than we are. But they lean in that direction. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So they do it. That's why the white kids was mad. They said they thought white people were pretty and smart. They said these crackers is dumb. This is what the haters are saying. And the white kids were telling them, man, y'all gotta slow down, have some fun. It's a fun success. Like Asians, Japanese commit suicide now if they get a bad test. They go harry-carry right now. Hey man, that's the hold it. I'm not committing suicide. I don't care what happened. You know, but they do. It's okay. So anyway, this stuff that's happening right now, it's right up our alley. We've been trained for it. Not to take a chance except for boss man. Boss man gives a job and we put our whole life on the line as police and soldiers. But he tell you, this is, you take this job, it's for security and safety. Yeah, you're in a doggone army. Right? Riding one of them things and all these new bombs blow up the whole thing and you blow half your head off, right? And you join the army for security and safety. Yeah. Okay, let me speed up a little bit. To go along with this, we have to improve our language. With Negro insurgents. Mellow Yellow and Big Talking so-and-so up in New York, all of those types. I'm going to go up there and just swallow and hold hands and do whatever we can if they let me. No, because they can sell this. I mean, you can't.
that's a true statement.
They can sell this easy.
It's
Without causing a commotion.
You know what? It's so you're right, because actually one of the imams in New York is like a advisor on a television show that's kind of a cop-oriented show that has Muslims in it. And one of the imams has been kind of a, you know, technical advisor from the Muslim perspective. I just happen to see that on.
No, I'm telling you.
So
Look,
they're already in place.
this is the
Right.
time. This is not like
We don't need to integrate. We're
this is not
already
a time
integrated.
where you have to really, make yourself uncomfortable to do it. We're already headed in that direction. But now it's just the purpose right? And nobody, when they ask us, why are you here? I'm here to try to implement the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of America. That's a good reason. You know why? The Constitution, if they were to give us our constitutional rights, you think they could shoot us? Of course not. You think they could put us in jail? No, because it's so many remedies you got in the Constitution that if you really got your remedies, it'd be hard to put you in jail as it would the big rich man that never goes to jail, right? But the public defender is not going to tell you all of that. He just tell you to take a plea. You got 8 cases. And they willing to put them all together. Was it 94% of all cases now are solved through plea bargaining? 94%. Okay. So this is about your career, not our career, your career in law enforcement. Whether the Division of Forestry, the forestry. When I say law enforcement, I mean each and every one. Choose your, okay. Civil service. Once you get in the civil service, it takes act of Congress to get out of there, right? That's what I heard. That's what they all say. They can't get it. After your 6 months, you can do whatever you want almost. That's what they told me. Yeah. All branches of military. The other thing, battle space, time, place, and circumstance. We will not be diverted from our direction, and we never was, by self-interest. Self-interest is what they've been trying to do to us. Come back to California and get your home, get your thing. Go back to California when I get ready. What's more important, trying to rescue the Negro and everybody else, or our Masjid and property that we can get back? Whatever. If we don't get it back, this is more important than getting back the property out there. It's more important. Yeah, it's more important, technically. Well, doing this job is more important for us. Other people wouldn't say that, I'm 90% sure. If they had the case we had against both, they would go for the case. But we're here, look, I already know one thing, that it's Allah's will that I'm here. I already know that. And it's nothing, nobody can tell me, well, it was going to be smart, go crap. Too many opportunities to slip and fall, too many opportunities to get shot and blown up, too many opportunities. Too many. It's just, I already know that. There's nobody can tell me that this is not the qadr of Allah. This is not possible for you. Nor can they fatten me up and tell me, you smart nigga, didn't go, you smart nigga. Yeah, you could get that because you're smart. Yeah, you got Musa. Negroes are stupid. First 5 years, anybody ever heard of Deng Xiaoping?
Yeah.
Deng Xiaoping, he was before, what's his name? Chairman Mao, then it was Guo Feng, then it was Deng Xiaoping. Deng Xiaoping said it don't make no difference whether the cat is black or white, as long as it catch mice. This is what he said during Chairman Mao's time. And when they was at the big table doing policy, Chairman Mao would sit down here, Deng Xiaoping would sit as far as he could away, because he was hard of hearing anyway. But Deng Xiaoping was saying it does make a difference whether the system is communist, capitalist, or socialist, as long as it works. It don't make no difference whether the cat is black or white. As long as it gets smashed, that's the only thing. That's the whole purpose, right, of the cat. Deng Xiaoping said, he come over here in the early 80s, running around the ring, I think. Had a cowboy hat on, he was just, he had the old Chinese laundry man, he did a perfect job, he did good. Oh, bossy. Oh, you just send us all the worky, you just, Chrysler, don't worry, Chrysler, how you send it over, we do it. We do it 1/3 that job, don't worry, you pay them $20 an hour in those days. You just pay us $2, no problem. Bossy, you gotta send the technology with us. We can't have, they send you the prefabricated or what's the name. He said, no, bossy, you gotta send how to make it too. You see what I mean? And some of the businessmen were so greedy. I remember when they was talking about it in the 80s. China's putting up these walls, but they wouldn't let them send nothing in unless they sent the know-how with it. Remember the days that Chinese copied everything? If you wanted a movie or tape when they were doing cassettes, boy, you could get anything for $1. Yeah, just like the movies, $1 or $2, $5, whatever it was. They don't even sell the movies no more. You can't find can you?
No, that's not the hustle no more.
That's right, it's not a hustle, because the Chinamans don't do it. It's not, the Negroes had you thinking that he was, because he'd have some of these. No, he would buy a ready-made movie from the Chinaman, and he'd go home and copy it, and he'd go out and sell it. Right, okay, the point is this. Deng Xiaoping policy was in vogue. America knew one thing. When the Chinese get wealthy, they're gonna dump communism. They didn't do it. They foaming at the mouth. Why they didn't do it? How they did it? Right? Remember? That was the whole thing. Oh, the Chinks they're gonna coming around. So they gave them more and more. And of course, a few months ago, whatever his name is, he said he done took every title that they got in China. He's bigger than Chairman Mao Zedong was. Hey, but they had. So he took off a whole thing. There's a couple of articles in the late 50s and early 60s. Socialism with Chinese characteristics. Yeah. And that's what he started. When he popped that out on a few years back and started explaining what it was, 2016 or 17, they turned mad. And when they turned on the old boss man up there in Alaska a few months ago, that was it. No, because the Chinese been talking about it for years. Should we maintain this attitude, or is it time to come out? See, because the Chinese had one thing. They called it the century of humiliation. When everybody was in China, the French, the Americans. 55 days in Peking, Charleston, Shaolin. Over here they call it the Boxer Rebellion. Chinese don't do no boxing, it's martial arts. But to them, everything is what they say it is. The point is, they played it on until they said, okay, now we're past that and we are who we are. And that's why the Americans were so, what, remember a few months ago? What, are you talking like that to us? They sat there all day, they said, oh, we're not doing that. And they're not. But look where they are. The Americans are going down. The Chinese are coming up. Okay. The Chinese are making money, the Americans are borrowing money. Whatever happened, we don't want to take a chance with our lives and our families' lives. You know, betting on how things fall with them. Okay. So this Sunday we'll have another thing. We might put out some stuff. Brief history of transformation. We'll go over a brief history of this transformation. We'll be on this subject for quite a while, from all different kinds of discussions like today. Some of the stuff we said before, and we're going to research it. And when we go out, we could go out now, but we give it a couple of weeks, what have you, so that we will have a thought out policy. You know, not learn on the run or on the job training. We can do that, but this is a little too important. The other thing is we want to have prepared questions that we could answer. If we ask this question, we want to be prepared to answer. So we have to plan for possible rough years ahead. We have to also plan, since you got to remember, we're the ones that's in this mentality. You got to remember, the immigrant and the immigrant's children are not where we are. That's what As-Sabiqun, you know, we have to help them, assist them in doing what's good for themselves. Okay. They take certain Negroes' words because they've been maybe good lackeys. Well, they're not lackeys, that's a bad word. They've been, okay, they can sell that process. You know, Mellow Yellow can sell it to them. I'm not saying we can't. If we have to, we'll try it. Before maximum exposure, a period of experimentation. Is that clear that this period of experimentation is now? We're experimenting on explaining, but we're going to have more and more experimentation as we get around a little bit. But this is not something we're going to put way off. This is close at hand. One of the last things we want to talk about is we are not, and we never have been diverted from our mission. We haven't allowed stealing this, beating people upside. We haven't allowed none of that to divert us from our mission. It just hasn't happened. Okay. Nor have we been involved in the chaos of the society. Okay. this thing I just mentioned about sacrifice our own interests for the, that includes property and everything. That they think that that stuff is like a hook to hold you. It ain't no hook. You can see it couldn't be too important because we haven't been there. I don't know when, right? It ain't no hook. Let them keep fishing and throwing the line out. Don't make us no difference. We'll go when we get ready for the reasons that we want to go there for. And when we get there, we'll do what fits into this platform now. Possible collapse of the system, confusion, blame game, time element, who they're going to blame when this all happens. This is a matured policy, and this is a period of final stage of research. And responsible leadership. And I repeat what I already, for this to work well, it must be super, super clean. That means no sabotage, none of that even in your mind. This is a constitutional process. Because remember, for us, the Constitution is evolutionary. That's not our final destination, the Quran and the Sunnah is. But if it'll get us to step, we know what's in our heart and everything, and we know how much the blend of Islam, we already know all of those things. Okay. I think that's about it. If there's any questions, comments, but we've had many